Hello, people. My name's Georgia. I have a story of my own about my crazy mother-in-law and sister-in-law. I thought you guys would like this since it has lots of drama, with a hint of revenge. So I decided to tell you some gossip about my life with my in-laws. Me and my husband Leo are a two-person family right now. We are approaching our mid-30s but haven't had kids yet. I guess it truly is a bad thing not to have kids by 30. At least that is what my mother-in-law and sister-in-law always said. My mother-in-law Paula is one of those people who is expert at making others do what she wants. She can be extremely manipulative and demanding of everyone. While she is easy on her daughter Alicia, Leo and his father John have the short end of the stick. Paula has always been on our butt about having kids. She always said, "When are you two having kids? I'm getting tired of waiting." Paula, we just got married last year. We want to be properly settled before planning our future. We will need time. That is not acceptable at all. You guys should have kids right now. I know you're holding your womb hostage. Leo for sure wants to be a dad. Mom, what are you saying? It was a joint decision. We both want to advance our careers a bit before we have kids. We have to be sure that we're capable of having kids. All this is nonsense. Taking care of children comes naturally. It is not good enough excuse for you guys to not have kids. Now that I think about it, it's actually pretty funny. Paula's own words could come back and bite her in the butt. Back then, neither she nor I knew it. Paula never stopped blaming me for not giving Leo kids, as if I was the one who didn't want kids. Alicia, too, joined in on the fun and gave her own opinions. She said, "It's such a shame Georgia can't give you grandchildren. How can someone be so cruel? She's getting old and won't be able to have kids after this. Georgia is such a horrible daughter-in-law. I have no idea why my son decided to marry her. I'm sure she's blackmailing him to not have kids." Georgia, what is your problem anyway? Are you infertile or something? No, Alicia, I'm not infertile, and even if I was, it is rude of you to talk like this. Don't tell her what to do. Alicia's right about everything anyway. She is my only hope now. I'm sure she'll give me the grandchild I always wanted. Paula was right about that one. A few months later, Alicia announced to everyone that she was pregnant. While Paula was super happy for her, me, Leo, and John were not that thrilled. You see, Alicia was 20 back then and not doing anything with her life. No job, no college, not even a plan for the future. All she did was sit at home and gossip with Paula. So when she announced her pregnancy, we had doubts about how she would take care of the baby. When we expressed our doubts, both Paula and Alicia reacted badly. It's not like we told her to give up the baby, we simply encouraged her to start being more serious about her future. We said, "Alicia, now that you're pregnant, you should start thinking about your career. A baby is a big financial responsibility. You need to be prepared to deal with everything." Why the hell would I think about that? Being a mother is my career. I don't need to do anything else. Since I will have full custody of the kid, his father will pay me money. The father will just pay child support, Alicia. The money will be for the child. Besides, it's not just a financial aspect. You need to start being serious about life. A child is a lot of responsibility. That's what I've been telling her. Alicia, you need to stop being so lazy. You need to be ready to take care of a baby. It can become taxing since you don't take your responsibilities seriously. Apparently, that was the wrong thing to say. Paula and Alicia erupted into anger at our words. They took it as a personal attack. They said, "Dad, you should help out with my finances. I'm just 20 years old. I can't dedicate my whole life to a child. I'm too young for that." Absolutely. Don't worry, Alicia. Me and John will take care of you. Besides, Georgia stays at home all day anyway. She can help with childcare. It's not like she has anything better to do. Yeah, that will teach her how to be a good parent in the future. She sure needs the training. I was pretty stunned at their words. I had no idea why they thought I would agree to babysit a child when I knew nothing about it. Besides, I worked from home and took care of my household. In no way was I sitting idle and doing nothing all day. Back then, I had no idea what trap they were setting for me. I simply thought saying no would do the job. Well, I was wrong. Months passed and Alicia gave birth to a beautiful boy. Baby Andy was born, a pretty healthy child. Everyone in the family was elated. We were all very happy with having a child in the family. Paula was exceptionally happy to have a grandchild, and Alicia was proud to have the first grandchild of the family. However, soon it all became very overwhelming for them. Alicia was losing her mind just a mere week after Andy was born. This girl had no idea how much work a newborn comes with. John and Paula helped as much as they could. However, a mother's responsibility is always more. Soon enough, Alicia was regretting having a baby and started to shift all responsibilities to her parents. The problem was that Alicia and Paula also tried to make me and Leo take over a chunk of childcare. She called us and pestered us to watch the child. Since Leo worked long hours, they couldn't press him as much. However, they pretty much drove me crazy. They said, "You need to take care of Andy more. Poor Alicia is always tired of looking after the baby. Georgia, you should be helping out. Don't be so lazy and selfish." "Andy is a few weeks old, Paula. I do not know about taking care of a child. I have already told you that. Even Leo is the same as me. Leo has work, so he gets a pass. You stay at home and do nothing. The least you can do is look after Andy in the morning. That way, I will have time to live my life a little. Every woman would want to look after a child. It's their job. You're being purposely difficult because I had my first grandchild." "Absolutely not, Alicia. No offense, but you are the one who chose to have a child. Paula and John help you out plenty. It's not my job to take care of your son." "How dare you say that? You are the aunt, and you should look after Andy. Alicia is just a young girl. You're old enough to look after a child. Don't give excuses." No matter how much I tried to make them understand, they wouldn't listen to me. In their eyes, I was a bitter old lady who would rather lounge around than take care of her nephew. I was getting pretty tired of their persistent bullying. However, I had no idea that things would get much worse. One day, I saw that I was added to a strange group chat. It was only me, Paula, and Alicia. I thought that it was really weird that they would add me to anything. I mean, it's not like we were all best friends. Then, the texts started to come in and I knew why I was in the group chat. They said, "Hey, Georgia, I was texting you to tell you that me and Mom will drop off Andy with you tomorrow. You need to babysit him till dinner." You have to be kidding me. Andy is a newborn. You can't just leave him with me. I cannot look after him. I have work, plus I don't even know how to take care of a baby. Well, I don't know that either, but I manage. You'll manage as well. I'll be at your house bright and early. No, I will not agree to this. You can't just leave your newborn with anyone at this stage. I'm not agreeing to this. Don't be a jerk, Georgia. My daughter is exhausted from looking after Andy, so we will go have some fun tomorrow. She is a young girl and needs her share of fun. You cannot deprive her of it. Now stop arguing because it won't work. We will drop off Andy with you tomorrow. No matter how many times I said no, they kept pestering me to accept. In the end, they stopped replying to my texts entirely. I was offended and pissed at the fact that they wanted me to be a standby parent. When I showed Leo the texts, he tried to play it cool. He said, "Don't worry about it, Georgia. I'm sure Mom and Alicia got your message. They will arrange something else." There is no way I'm taking care of a newborn, Leo. If they show up, I will turn them away. I can promise you that. Of course you will. None of us are qualified to take care of a newborn. Mom and Alicia won't be that stupid to force this on you. They are tired and must have spoken out of desperation. Leo tried to calm my fears, but for some reason, I was still anxious. With the experience I had with Paula and Alicia, I knew they would try and con me into caring for Andy. I really hoped they had gotten my message and dropped the topic. They did read my text but never replied. So I was pretty anxious about what they were planning. The next day, my worst fears came to light. That morning, I was going through my usual routine. After Leo left for work, I stepped into the shower to take a warm bath before starting to work. After I was done, I came downstairs to have some food, but when I went to the living room, I heard the cries of a child. Immediately, I was alarmed. The sound was coming from the front door. In my mind, there was only one way there was a child at my door. I went to the door and opened it. What I saw made my blood boil. Andy was crying in her car seat that was right on my driveway. Immediately, I took Andy in and kept him in the living room. It was freaking 100 degrees outside, so he must have been out in the sun for a while. I was furious. Andy didn't even have a diaper bag or formula with him. I had no idea what I should do. First, I called my neighbor who had a child. I begged her for some formula so that I could feed Andy. My neighbor understood my situation and came to give me some formula. She was the one who fed Andy and calmed him down. While she was with Andy, I decided to check the security cameras. Lo and behold, Paula was ringing the doorbell once and leaving Andy in the driveway. I was beyond mad. I called her to get to the bottom of it. When she picked up, I said, "Why the hell have you left Andy in my driveway? The child was out in the heat for at least 10 minutes. What is wrong with you? Where is Alicia?" "You need to calm down, Georgia. Alicia's with me. My poor daughter is tired of being with the baby, so I took her out for a fun day. We will be gone till dinner." "What? But what about Andy? He can't be here all day." "You need to take care of him now. Alicia is tired of looking after Andy. She needs a break. You are the aunt, so you better step up and help out. You sit at home and do nothing anyway." "You cannot do this, Paula. You are insane. This is child abandonment." "Don't be so dramatic. You're clearly at home and can take care of the child. Andy is not abandoned at all." "Listen to me, Paula. I never signed up to take care of the child. You didn't even inform me when you dropped him off here. You and Alicia need to come back immediately or there will be consequences. We are already at a nail appointment. We have way too much planned today. Don't be a witch. Now, I'm going to hang up and turn off my phone so that we can have some fun. Bye." Saying that, Paula simply hung up on me. I was shocked by their irrational behavior. Alicia had also turned off her phone or blocked my number. After 15 minutes of trying to reach them, I was fuming. So I decided to make them face some serious consequences. First, I called Leo to put some sense into his head. When he picked up, I said, "Leo, your mom just dropped off Andy on our doorstep. She didn't even call me, just rang the doorbell and left." "What? Mom did that? You have to be kidding me. Where is Alicia? Did you call them?" "Yes, I did call them both. They're together and left for a nail appointment. They demanded that I take care of Andy. From what they said, they won't be back till the evening at least." Oh my God. They have gone freaking crazy. What do we do? "I'm going to call the police, Leo. They have abandoned their child on my doorstep. If we don't teach them a lesson, They will never learn. What they did today was unsafe and highly inappropriate. You're right about that, Georgia. Fine. Let me try and reach them. If they don't answer, you can call the police. After hanging up, Leo did try to reach Alicia and Paula. The calls never went through. Paula had only left him a message saying that I needed to stop being a witch and look after Andy. Leo was furious and told me to call the police. That started a chain of events that Paula or Alicia never predicted. I called the police and they were at the house in no time. After shaking them all the security footage and text messages, they called CPS and took the baby into their care. I knew that the police tried to get in touch with Paula and Alicia. Since they switched off their phones, the cops were forced to contact John. John did call me immediately after the police got in touch with him. He was at work and was forced to drive to the police station to get the baby and talk to the cops. When he called me, he said, "What is going on, Georgia? I got a call from the cops that Paula left him at your door." I'm extremely confused. Paula and Alicia are not picking up my calls either. Alicia and Paula left Andy on our driveway. I think Alicia was in the car with her. It's 100 degrees outside. Paula just rang the doorbell and left. I was in the shower and didn't even hear it. I found him when I heard him crying from my bedroom window. Shit. This is insane. I don't know what has gotten into them. Paula told me that you agreed to look after her. I had no idea she would do this. I would have stopped her. Hell, they left the child in this heat. I am sorry for calling the cops, John, but what they did risked the health and safety of Andy. He could have had some health consequences from being too long in the sun. What if I hadn't heard him? Georgia, you didn't have to apologize. You did the right thing. None of this is your fault. Don't worry. I have put up with Paula and Alicia's behavior for a long time now. I think it's time they have some punishment. I'll take care of everything. Don't worry. John hung up the phone and I could tell that he was pissed. Hell, all of us were, actually. Not only did I feel enraged at Paula for crossing my boundaries, but also at Alicia for casually abandoning a child. I may not have a child, but that doesn't mean I'm not worried about Andy. I would have gladly taken care of him if I was free and if he literally wasn't a newborn. Paula and Alicia pushed me too far, and now they would face the consequences. The day went by and Leo returned home from work. Just as we were about to have dinner, Paula showed up on our doorstep. She was literally pounding at our front door and begging to talk. When we opened the door, she fell on her knees and started to cry. She said, "Georgia, please tell the cops that you lied. Tell them that there has been a misunderstanding. They already arrested Alicia for child endangerment and neglect. They'll take me too once they find me. Even the CPS has gotten involved. Alicia will lose the baby. Please don't do this." Both of you belong in jail. You have absolutely no problem abandoning a child. Now you are here begging for mercy. I've put up with your boundary-stomping acts for so long. Today you crossed all limits and put a child in danger. We thought Andy was safe. You would have looked after him. I knew you wouldn't turn away a child, so I thought I could just drop him off and leave. This wouldn't have happened if you had just agreed to babysit. Stop blaming this on Georgia, Mom. You have some nerve trying to justify your actions. You left a baby out in this heat wave. You are a monster. Georgia is right. You belong in jail. As for Alicia, I am sure her ex would be a much better parent than her. She deserves to have Andy taken away. Don't say that, Leo. John has already told me that he won't help. He doesn't even want me in the house anymore. He's threatening to leave me. All of this can be solved if Georgia just talks to the cops and says that it was a misunderstanding. Paula kept crying and begging us. She wanted me to go to the cops and say that it was a misunderstanding, that it was my fault everything happened. Leo was getting extremely pissed, and so was I. Leo then threatened to call the cops to take her away. She got scared and left. In the aftermath of the police call, Paula was ultimately arrested when she tried to flee from the city. She was promptly put in jail, just like Alicia. No one from the family wanted to help them out. Even John said that they need to deal with their mess. Alicia was forced to give the cops her ex's information so that they could have the baby placed with him. But since he was out of state, they gave us Andy temporarily. John agreed that this would be the best solution at the moment. Andy stayed with us until his dad flew here the next day. He brought his lawyer so that they could get emergency full custody of the child. Paula managed to get bail for herself and Alicia, but they had no place to go. John kicked them out and told Paula that he would file for divorce. Since the house was in his name, they couldn't stay there for now. The duo came to us for help, but we didn't even open the door. Later, they managed to stay with a family friend. However, she only gave them a month to stay, so it looks like both Alicia and Paula would have to get jobs. It seems unlikely that Alicia will get anything more than just visitation for now. She's unemployed with no place to stay. CPS won't allow her to keep the baby, and neither will the courts. Me and Leo have both blocked their numbers, so we are currently staying away from the drama. Only the future will tell what comes out of this. However, we are sure both Paula and Alicia will have way more trouble than they have now. Hi, I'm Kat, and I'm 25 years old. I just got married to my boyfriend of 2 years, Nate. We met at Walmart and bonded over some mac and cheese. He asked for my number, and I obviously said yes, because who could say no to that cute face? It was a very random place where we met, but as we started talking more and going on dates, we totally fell in love. We realized how compatible we were with each other, and then Nate proposed. It was not some fancy proposal, but it was the sweetest, and I couldn't have said no. We were making a grocery run at the same Walmart, and he said he wanted to get some mac and cheese. When we were at the mac and cheese aisle, I turned around and there was Nate on his knee with a ring in his hand. I obviously said yes. The wedding couldn't go as dreamy as the proposal went. Unfortunately, because my very own sister Clarissa was hell-bent on ruining the day for me. Let me share a bit more about Clarissa and myself. She's 1 year older than me and has always been the shining star of our family. Throughout my upbringing, my mom constantly compared me to her, pushing me to be like my older sister. It felt like a never-ending competition with Clarissa, from stacking blocks in kindergarten to vying for the prom queen title at prom. She consistently set high standards that I couldn't surpass. On the surface, she seemed better in every aspect. Better grades, being a state-level ice skater until middle school, and in high school, becoming the class president and a popular cheerleader. Everyone wanted to be her friend, and she even got accepted into an Ivy League college. Her first job after graduation was far superior to mine. Unfortunately, because my parents always boosted her ego and prioritized her, I found myself living in her shadow. I was just an average girl in school, and one incident that struck me was when I started taking cello lessons in middle school. But, as expected, Clarissa also joined in, and being the perfectionist she is, she outshone me. I eventually quit, and ever since, I have felt like I became invisible, lost in her achievements. I won't lie, I couldn't help but feel jealous of her success. I hated being her sister, but I never hated her. Clarissa has always been like this, super focused on herself and making everything about her. But to be fair, it's not all her fault. Things have been this way in our family forever. At dinner, it has always been about Clarissa and what she's up to. It's like she's the center of attention all the time. In college, I chose to study literature, pursuing my own interests and passions. Now I work for a small publishing company where my income might not be extravagant, but it's enough to sustain my lifestyle. Clarissa had already moved out and got her own apartment, while I kept jumping back and forth between Nate's apartment and my parents' place, and it was a bit embarrassing for me as I didn't have my own place. However, I was focused on saving up money so that I could eventually get my own place too. When I first started dating Nate and shared how we met with Clarissa, she started bullying me for it. Oh, only a creep who lives in his mom's basement would hit on girls like that in Walmart. Clarissa, could you not be mean for once? He is a nice guy and he is into coding for starters. He treats me well. You will know if you try to get to know him. I decided to make the announcement of Nate's proposal over dinner, so I invited Clarissa for dinner at our house. Hey Clarissa. Hey Kat. Come over for dinner at the house today. Mom's making your favorite key lime pie for dessert, and I have a special announcement to make. Don't tell me you're pregnant. Mom and Dad would have to take care of 2 babies then. Come on, don't be such a meanie. Haha, I'm just pulling your leg. I'll be there. When I made the announcement, everyone was happy for me and congratulated me. I told them we were getting married in 2 months, and Mom and Dad couldn't stop talking about how happy I made them with the news. Clarissa also congratulated me, but I could sense some jealousy from her, and I wasn't sure why. Is something wrong, Clarissa? Nothing really. I'm just shocked. Why would Nate marry you? I thought it was just a casual thing. He could have anyone he wanted. He's successful and handsome. Give me a break, Clarissa. It felt like maybe Clarissa didn't take the news so well because for the first time in our lives, she wasn't the center of attention. Everything wasn't about her for once. Perhaps she also didn't like the idea of me getting married before her. After all, Clarissa was still single and had trouble keeping relationships for more than 3 months. She was always the first to do things in our family, and maybe it bothered her that I was having a moment for myself with our parents. Then it was time to begin the wedding preparations, and right from the start, I made a grave mistake. Instead of choosing Clarissa as my maid of honor, I asked my best friend Haley to take on that role. I love my sister very much, but I never felt a strong connection with her. Her initial reaction to my engagement had already weirded me out, and she had been expressing doubts about the whole thing. I couldn't risk letting her have control over my wedding. Something told me she wouldn't do things right. When I told her that Haley would be my maid of honor, she didn't seem bothered at first. However, a couple of days later, Mom wanted to talk to me. I heard you asked Clarissa to just be a bridesmaid and made Haley your maid of honor instead? Well, Mom, Clarissa and I have never been that close. She doesn't know me as well, and I don't want my wedding to be anything less than perfect. I'm sure Haley would do a better job. I don't know about that, but you hurt your sister. You two are supposed to be on the same team. Mom, I just have this feeling that Clarissa isn't in favor of this wedding. Maybe she wanted to get married first, and I fear she might try to sabotage it. She's your sister. Why would she do that? I was done with the conversation, and the decision had been made. With that settled, Nate and I began the wedding preparations. For the wedding venue, we chose a charming wedding courtyard, and we went ahead and booked the place. It felt like the perfect location for our special day. After finalizing the wedding venue, I had other important tasks lined up with my friends, including Clarissa, that needed to be taken care of. We started with shopping for my wedding dress. I had created a mood board to find the perfect dress that matched my vision, and after trying out various designers and visiting different stores for a week, I finally found the dress of my dreams. Haley, Clarissa, and my mom were with me during this special moment. The wedding gown was a gift from my parents, and it was priced at a whopping $3,000. Stepping out in a beautiful white in-bold drawer mermaid gown I instantly knew it was the one for me. As the veil was placed on my head, my mom's eyes got all teary, and it was such an emotional moment. But leave it to Clarissa to ruin it. She just had to drop that nasty comment. Sure, the gown is gorgeous, but I'm sorry, I have to be honest with you. You don't have the body for it. You look fat. Haley had to swoop in and remind me not to let Clarissa's negativity bring me down, so I brushed it off, kept my cool, and bought that dress anyway. Next, we moved on to look for the bridesmaids' dresses. We decided on a beautiful coral satin dress for all the bridesmaids. However, Clarissa, in her usual controlling nature, insisted that pink wasn't her color. It was frustrating because my wedding had a specific theme, and after much bickering, we compromised and chose the closest color to coral, which was salmon. Clarissa was just being problematic and selfish at this point. Counting all the times Clarissa tried to bring me down would take forever. Those 2 months leading up to the wedding were a roller coaster of stress. Cake tasting, flower picking, seating arrangements. It was all overwhelming. Thank goodness for Nate and Haley, who were constantly supporting me and helping me out. She would constantly try to sabotage me or say hurtful things that made me question my decisions. She kept making snide remarks, trying to show me that if it were her wedding, things would be perfect and she would do it way better. I wish she could just be happy for me instead of trying to overshadow my special moment. 1 week before the wedding, Clarissa had taken some time off work and moved in with us temporarily. My parents were out running errands when Nate asked if he could come over to share something important. It was just Clarissa and me at home, and Nate had arrived, joining me in my bedroom. Nate handed me a little gift. Here's a little gift. My grandma would want you to have it. He handed me a box, and as I opened it, I found a beautiful vintage necklace inside. Oh my God, Nate, is this for me? I couldn't be more honored. I wish I could have met your grandma in person. This is so sweet. I love you, baby. I love you too. The doorbell rang, and I hurried downstairs to find the Amazon delivery guy waiting. I quickly signed for the package, taking it from him. As I made my way back up the stairs, I could hear muffled voices coming from my room. Curious, I tried to listen in without being noticed. I seriously couldn't believe it when a guy like you proposed to Kat. What do you mean? You're successful, making apps, and let's face it, you're way too good looking for someone like her. You're like out of her league. Clarissa, I think Kat is my dream girl. She's beautiful and passionate. This necklace would look better on my neck. And you know what would look better on yours? My arms instead of Kat's. Get off me! I barged into the room, and it seemed like Nate had pushed Clarissa away from him. It's not what you think, Kat. I know, Nate. I heard everything. Clarissa, can you stop acting all crazy? Are you this desperate, trying to throw yourself at my man? What's gotten into you? Try to act like an adult for once. We're not kids, and this isn't some competition. You've spent your whole life living in the spotlight, and now that I have it for once, you've gone all insane. Newsflash, the world doesn't revolve around you. I'm sorry, please don't tell Mom and Dad about this. They're going to hate me. Just get out of my sight. I'm disgusted by you right now. Clarissa left my room, and Nate tried to comfort me. I decided not to tell Mom and Dad about the incident, as I didn't want to create more drama. I was already stressed about the wedding, and adding fuel to the fire wouldn't help. I didn't even want Clarissa at the wedding anymore. I confided in Haley, and she agreed that it was best not to bring it up. Who knows what Clarissa might do next? But let me tell you, I was so mad at her. Who would stoop down that level and flirt with their sister's fiancé? That was some next level messed up stuff. She seriously needed some major help pulling off a stunt like that. I was just fuming with anger and disappointment at her. Like, why would she even go there? It was beyond me. But then, just 3 days before my wedding, I heard a knock on my door. Kat, I know my apology doesn't hold much value right now, but I'm really sorry for everything. Not just about the Nate situation, but for how I reacted to your wedding news and poked at you for the past 2 months. My jealousy got the better of me. You know, I haven't been in a stable relationship for a while, and being the older sister, I wanted to be the one getting married first. Seeing all the attention you were getting made me feel so lonely. I realize now that Nate loves you for who you are, and no one has ever seen me like that. I don't know what I was doing. I owe an apology to Nate too. I know we didn't start off on a great foot, but I really want your wedding to be perfect. You're my little baby sister after all. Oh, come here. I was taken aback by her words, and surprisingly, all the hurtful things she said and did started to fade away. I did not know what to say, so I went in for a hug, thinking it was a genuine moment of reconciliation. Little did I know she had something else in mind. We had a little bachelorette party at a cool club, followed by a rehearsal dinner the next night before the big day. I was totally shaken by how Clarissa was on her best behavior. Like, who is the new and improved version of her? It was almost like she was trying to make up for all the drama she had caused earlier. But hey, I wasn't complaining. I was just hoping she'd keep it together for the actual wedding too. It was the day of the wedding and things were in full swing. Hairdressers, makeup artists were buzzing around. Everyone seemed to be in a panic. My cousins, who were part of my bridesmaid squad, were already at our place. Haley and Alex, my other friend and also bridesmaid, were there too, all dolled up in their pretty salmon dresses. All the attention was on me as I got my hair and makeup done. Clarissa complimented me on how beautiful I looked. When I put on the dress, my mom and grandma couldn't stop crying, and I was just overwhelmed with emotions. We did a quick toast, but to be honest, I still had a major cold feet. Then came the first look with Nate, and we both turned into a puddle of tears. After that, the photo frenzy began, capturing all those moments before the moment. Walking down the aisle, holding my bouquet, I started the walk with my dad, followed by my awesome bridesmaids. The ceremony was beautiful, and finally, Nate and I were officially husband and wife. The evening was a blast with music, food, and endless chatter. Everything seemed to be going perfectly. Nate and I were mingling with the guests. We were on cloud 9, taking care of the guests and eagerly waiting for our wedding cake to be brought in. But then, out of freaking nowhere, I spotted a familiar face in the crowd. Max, my ex-boyfriend from college. What the actual hell was he doing here? I was shaken to my core when I saw Clarissa holding Max's hand as they swaggered over to me. Like, what on earth is happening right now? This was some next-level drama I did not sign up for. Max, what are you doing here? Max was clearly wasted, and all those memories of our college days came rushing back. Ugh, he was into partying, drugs, and just being a total mess. No wonder we broke up. Congratulations, kitty cat. Who invited you? Seriously? He's my +1. Are you kidding me? Why would you do this? Oh my God, Clarissa, you're driving me insane. Who's this dude? Well, kitty cat and I share some history together. They sure do. My blood was boiling with fury. I had never hated Clarissa more than at that moment. I couldn't believe she would do something so selfish and disrespectful. I felt terrible for Nate. He looked totally weirded out by Max's presence, and who wouldn't be? But just when I thought things couldn't get any worse, disaster struck. The freaking champagne glass was hit with a silver spoon, and that dreaded ting, ting, ting sound filled the air. It was time for the speeches, and of course, Clarissa, not missing the opportunity to steal the spotlight, dropped Max's hand and rushed to the front, snatching the microphone from Haley. I couldn't even believe my eyes at that point. This was supposed to be the happiest day of my life, and she was turning it into a total nightmare. I didn't know whether to scream, cry, or do both. I just wanted this whole circus to end. All right, everybody, gather round. Let's have some fun. So here we are at Kat's wedding, and let me just say, it's been a roller coaster of emotions for me. Let's talk about the groom, Nate, over here. You know, Nate, you're supposed to be the groom, but honestly, I've seen more enthusiasm from a sloth on a lazy Sunday afternoon. I mean, I get it, one wouldn't be as stoked to marry my sister, but Nate, how hard is it to keep up appearances? Well, let us move on to the bride over here, Kat. What can I say about her? She is a nobody. She has always tried to be me. I mean, I would not even know how it feels to be her, poor thing. But come on, let's be real. I'm the prettier and smarter sister. That's why we have Max here, Kat's ex-boyfriend, as my +1. I wouldn't be surprised if Nate hits on me sometime later. Haley quickly took the mic away from Clarissa, trying to divert the guests' attention by announcing that the cake had arrived. My tears were streaming down my face and I just couldn't go on with the evening. Nate was being super supportive, trying to comfort me while all this drama unfolded. And just when they brought out the cake, Clarissa went and pushed it like a total wrecking ball and it fell flat on the floor. I couldn't contain my anger anymore and it all just spilled out. Just leave, Clarissa. I don't want you here. I don't want to see your face ever again. My voice was shaking with frustration and hurt, and I knew I should have been stronger, but I was going through a mental breakdown. Clarissa looked stunned, and for a moment, her drunken bravado faded away. It was clear that my words had hit her hard, and I could see a flicker of remorse in her eyes, but it was too late. The damage was done, and I couldn't take back what I had said. The pain and anger was still there, bubbling inside me like a volcano. Haley, Alex, can you please escort Clarissa out of here? And so they did. With Clarissa gone, Nate took over the mic. Hey everyone, I just want to thank you all for being here and celebrating this special day with us. I know things got a bit heated, but let's not let that overshadow the evening that lies ahead of us. And to my wife, Kat, I love you with all my heart, and I promise to be there for you, to support you and to love you unconditionally through all the ups and downs of life. Today might not have gone exactly as we planned, but it's a reminder that life is unpredictable and we have to cherish every moment. After the wedding, Nate and I had an amazing honeymoon in Italy, and it was the perfect way to unwind and enjoy each other's company. Living our best life, exploring the sights and devouring the delish Italian food, but the whole drama with Clarissa at the wedding still had me feeling down. I moved my stuff to Nate's place, but Clarissa was MIA. No calls, no texts, nada. My parents are mad at me for standing up to her and throwing her out of my wedding. Honestly, I had enough of Clarissa's toxic energy. Cutting her out of my life was the ultimate power move. I mean, how could she be so heartless? No apologies, nothing. No way was I going to forgive her for that mess. As for my parents, they better wake up and see that Clarissa's the one stirring up trouble. She needs to take responsibility for her actions. A week went by since we were back from Italy, and still nothing from the family. I'm standing tall and holding my ground. If they finally get it and show me some love, I'll consider talking things out. Until then, I'm focusing on my new life with Nate. Hi, I'm Ava. A few years ago, I was an ordinary housewife searching for fulfillment from the monotony of my daily routine. Yet deep inside my heart, there burned the desire to open a bakery. This dream consumed my every thought, adding a sense of purpose to my life that drove me forward, so I decided to talk to my husband about it. Robert, I was thinking about starting a baking business. A bakery? Are you serious? You do not have any experience or skills for that. It's just a silly fantasy. But I have a passion for baking and I want to earn and support you. What is the point, Ava? You're just wasting your time with these silly dreams of yours. I know it may seem like a long shot, and I believe in myself. I want to create something special, something that brings joy to others. Joy? Don't you see the reality? We have bills to pay and responsibilities to fulfill. Your little bakery will not bring in any money. It's a waste of time and resources. I want to believe in myself and what I can accomplish. I don't want to live a life full of regrets wondering what could have been. Fine, Ava. Do whatever you want. But don't come crying to me when it all falls apart. I will not support this foolishness. I didn't get demotivated by Robert's words. I saved up some money and started baking for friends. Robert, guess what? I saved up some money and started a home baking business. Oh, a home baking business? I told you it's a waste of time. Well, I know it is challenging, but I am trying my best. Trying your best, Ava? Let us be realistic. There is no way you can compete with established brands and shops. It is just a hobby, not a real business. It is more than just a hobby to me, Robert. I am motivated to make it work. Motivated? Ava, you need to face reality. Your small business is going nowhere. You are just wasting your time and energy. Your business schedule is affecting our relationship. You are always so caught up in your baking that you do not have time for anything else. I'm sorry if it feels that way, but I am doing my best to balance everything. This business means a lot to me, and I hope you can understand and support me instead of criticizing me. It is just frustrating to see you so consumed by something that does not seem to be going anywhere. Honestly, my business was going nowhere, but I believed in the potential inside me and continued to work hard. Even the friends who tasted my food said it was delicious. I just need some marketing. I remained positive. Maybe Robert's criticism would turn into respect once I start making a profit. But unfortunately, something terrible happened to me. On that day, Robert did not come back home. I tried calling him, but he did not answer. I thought he might be busy with work at the office. The next day, he called me. Ava, start packing your bags. Hey, bags? Are you going somewhere? Not both of us, just you. Me? Where? Out of my house. I don't understand. What is this silly joke? Come home and we can talk. It is not a joke. I'm going to marry Mia and I want her to live here. So before she comes, I want you to leave the house. I couldn't process the news. I stood there frozen. Eventually, I regained my senses and gathered the strength to speak. What? But before I could finish asking my question, he had already hung up the phone. I felt confused and sad. I fell on the floor, feeling very overwhelmed by everything that was happening. While I was lost in my thoughts, I suddenly woke up when I heard the doorbell ringing. I quickly went to the door, eager to find out who it was. When I opened it, I saw my little sister, Mia, and my husband, Robert. It was a surprise because Mia and I hadn't been in touch, and I never expected her to betray me like this. There they stood, with Mia dressed in white and holding hands with my husband. Have you not left yet? Why would you do this to me? If there was a problem, you should have talked to me. Why did you betray me like this, Robert? What did I lack that you had to turn to another woman? You have nothing. You are just a housewife who does not even know how to make me happy. Look at Mia. So beautiful and perfect. She makes me happy. You're always busy with household chores or your silly bakery. Busy? Who do I do everything for? You and our home, right? Well, that doesn't matter now. We're married and it is time for you to leave my house. Either you go on your own or I will push you out. Mia smirked and I became furious. What is so funny? You're my little sister. Why would you do this to me? Your sister? Oh, please. I have a higher class, unlike you. My new husband is wealthy and I can keep him happy. So you should leave our house. We have to host a wedding party this evening, so you better go. For the past 2 years, I had been trying so hard to make my marriage work and to please Robert. But nothing worked and I felt angry at myself. Mia made me feel like I was not enough. There was nothing left for me in that house. Yes, legally it was in Robert's name, but I had put so much effort into making every corner of that home perfect. And within a few minutes, everything shattered before my eyes. Blaming my destiny, I walked out of that place. Suddenly, while I was walking, someone pulled me to the side. It was a woman. I looked at her, surprised and angry. What? Rose? Can't you see you were walking in the middle of the road? You could have been hit by a car. Rose was my friend from childhood. We met after so many years, and that too in such a situation. She almost shouted at me and I snapped back to my senses. I had been walking on the road without paying attention, lost in my thoughts. I felt a chill thinking about what would have happened if that car had hit me. Are you even listening to me? What's wrong with you? Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Thank you, Rose. Huh. It is okay. Do you need any help? Where are you going? I can drop you off. Where was I going? I did not have any close friends in the city. My parents lived far away and I did not want to trouble them. Robert was my everything. I felt ashamed of myself. Actually, I don't know where to go. What? Never mind. Can we at least go to the restaurant? I'm super hungry. Are you? And then I realized, yes, I was hungry, but I had left home without any money. What was I going to do for food and living? I had no work experience, so who would hire me? I'm sorry, I do not have any money right now. Oh, that's fine. Just come with me. Don't worry, we're friends. Okay. I went to a restaurant with her. It was beautiful and looked expensive. The chandelier hanging in the center caught my attention. Hey, what brings you here? I thought you were in Australia. Yes, I was studying there. After completing my degree, I came here for work. Rose, you don't have to go through all this trouble for me. It looks expensive. Hey, it's okay. I'll take care of the lunch. We got interrupted as the food arrived. It looked delicious. Soup, Caesar salad, and barbecue chicken burger. I was hungry, so I started eating without waiting for Rose. Did you like the food? Yes, it's nice, but the burger buns could have been better. Really? Our buns and pizzas are very famous. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. The food is good, but there's room for improvement. The buns could be crispier and better baked. The soup could have more seasoning. You are talking like a chef. Oh, no. I'm just a stay-at-home wife. Well, I used to be. Anyway, I bake a lot and even started a baking business, but it's not going anywhere. Oh, you have so much knowledge. Why don't you try working at restaurants? I'm not qualified for that. Not every restaurant requires qualifications. You seem experienced and that's enough. I can tell something really bad has happened to you. Would you like to share it with me? Rose looked concerned and helpful, and I wanted to share everything with someone. I explained everything to her. That is terrible. What kind of man is he? We can sue him legally. I'll help you. Hey, no, I don't want to do anything. And I don't need anything from him. What is the use if there's no love left? Let him live peacefully. You are so kind-hearted, Ava. He did wrong to you and he will pay for his actions. But until then, focus on yourself. You have so much potential. Try going out and getting a job. Even I need to become independent. Do you have any references here? I can start from here. Oh, sure. I'll book you an appointment with the owner. That would be so helpful. Are you in the management department? Yes, you can say that. Rose paid the bill and we left the restaurant. I had found new hope. So where will you go now? Actually, I don't know. I'll call some of my friends and find a temporary place. I am your friend, right? Why don't you come with me? Are you sure? You've already done so much for me. No problem, dear. Stay with me until you find a permanent place. Thank you so much. I moved in with Rose. Her home was beautiful with a big library full of business books. I lay on the bed thinking about Robert and Mia's wedding party. I was deeply in love with Robert and it wasn't easy to move on, but I decided to trust myself and give it a try. The next morning, I got ready using Rose's office clothes. I looked at myself in the mirror and kept staring. I looked smart. I wasn't used to this look. I usually dressed simply, always wearing an apron and smelling like tomatoes. Maybe that's why Robert left me. My thoughts were interrupted by Rose. You look smart. Thank you. Are you ready for the interview? Yes, hoping for the best. Good. I'll drive you to the restaurant. We arrived at the restaurant. Rose told me where to go and she went to a meeting. I went to the waiting area feeling so nervous. After all, it was my first job interview. I gathered my courage and stepped inside. When I opened the door, I was surprised. It was Rose. Rose? Sorry, can I come in? Hey, Ava, you don't have to be formal. Come in. Hey, Ava, you don't have to be formal. Come and sit. I sat in front of her. She was the owner of the restaurant. The previous day, I criticized her restaurant's food. I felt ashamed. Sorry, Ava, this is kind of a surprise for you, but yesterday I did not want to overwhelm you. Oh, I understand. Shall we start the interview then? I judged you enough yesterday, and you are the best candidate for me. But the head chef wants you to work in the kitchen today, and we will let you know tomorrow about the job role and the rest of the formalities. Thank you so much, Rose. No need, Ava. Do your best in the kitchen. I went into the kitchen. It was an amazing place. I had only seen such a place in movies or cooking shows. I never thought I would get a chance to visit such a place. I decided to give it my all. The head chef told me to make the same soup we had eaten the previous day and to bake the burger buns. I knew what was missing, so I did my best. The head chef was surprised and praised me a lot. Everyone was happily tasting my dishes and they could not believe I was just a stay-at-home wife before. But more than that, I was surprised at my newfound potential. There was a long way to go. Eventually, I got the job and the salary was surprisingly high. I had never had this much money before. I was happy working there. I put all my effort into the job because it was all I had left in my life. Over time, I got promoted and became the head chef. I bought my own house in the city where no one could kick me out. Our breads and soups became famous and people came just to taste them. I even published a recipe book. But deep down in my heart, my dream of having my bakery was still unfulfilled. I decided to talk to Rose about it. Hey, I want to talk to you about something. Yes, Ava, please go ahead. Actually, do you remember when I told you about my dream of opening a bakery? Yes, I do. Well, I've been thinking about opening my bakery, but to do that, I would have to quit my job at your restaurant. Oh, that's so sad. But I don't want to hold you back, Ava. I know you have the potential to establish your brand, and I'm with you. Thank you so much, Rose. You are the best person I have ever met. I will train the restaurant's chef well, so you don't have to worry about the food after I leave. I know, Ava. You will do your best for our restaurant. And so I left the restaurant. I had enough savings to open a bakery in the city center, and that's exactly what I did. I gathered the best team possible and we opened my bakery called Ava's. I expected it to do well, but our small bakery exceeded my expectations. People were so happy with the quality of our bread and cakes. Soon, we expanded the small bakery into a restaurant and it became the city's new favorite spot. It was everywhere, even featured in food magazines. I had achieved my dream. Ava's had become a brand. I remembered the chandelier in Rose's restaurant and decided to create a special interior for our newly opened restaurant. I started getting quotations from many big companies interested in doing our interior design. And one day, something unexpected happened. I received a call. Hello, I'm Robert from RD Interiors. I'm calling about the contract for your restaurant's design. Can I get an appointment with the owner? I'd like to present in front of her. Yes, it was Robert, my ex-husband, who betrayed me and kicked me out of the house. I had come so far from my past. Why was he appearing in my life again? Anger, sadness, surprise, so many mixed emotions filled my mind. Hello? Robert, is this you? Oh, Ava, I couldn't recognize your voice. It's changed a lot. What do you want from me now? I'm sorry, Ava. I shouldn't have done that to you. I couldn't understand your importance and potential back then. Please forgive me. You broke my trust, and it's beyond forgiveness. Please leave me alone. I'm not interested in talking to you. Ava, please, at least listen to. Don't you understand? I said I am not interested in talking to you anymore. Ava, please listen to me for 5 minutes, then hang up. Fine, talk. But don't expect anything in return. Ava, my previous company fired me because I wasn't attentive at work. I started working at RD Interiors a few months ago, but even this company isn't satisfied with me. My responsibilities have increased and I can't handle it all. Please, this contract is my last hope. If I don't get it, my company will fire me. Oh, sorry, Robert. I'm not interested in working with your company. Ava, please. And I hung up the call, remembering how he had hung up on me while I was pleading for an explanation. Rose came to meet me on Saturday. She had become like family to me, and I desperately wanted to tell her everything. Hey, Star. Hey, what happened? You don't look fine as usual. Is everything okay? Well, the new restaurant and its interior. What about it? Are you struggling to choose the best one? Actually, I got a call and it was from Robert. He was asking for a contract for the interior of this new restaurant. Robert, who? Your ex-husband? Yes. Ava, I told you he would pay for his actions. This is a good opportunity for revenge. Yes, I know. I want him to realize he made a mistake. I told him we don't want to work with his company. They might have fired him for not getting the contract. Ah, well, it was not an official way of securing a contract anyway. I wonder what happened to him. He was very sincere at work and now he got fired from 2 companies? Strange. Yes, he's paying for his actions. But don't think too much about it. Let us go out. Yeah, sure. I received a text from Robert. I'm sorry, Ava. I've done you wrong. I have nothing left. Please come back to me. We'll work on our relationship again. I'm going to divorce Mia. I've realized your love and effort. While eating ice cream with Rose, I read that message without feeling anything. One thing was certain. I would never go back to him. The person who wasn't there for me during my difficult times was now demanding my attention during my happy moments. Honestly, that was my achievement, but I no longer had any love left for Robert, so I texted him back saying, I have moved on, Robert. Wishing you all the best for your future. And continued enjoying my ice cream. Hello, my beautiful friends. I'm Haley, and I really hope you're having a great time in life. I am now in a very happy place after going through a very disturbing time in my life. Since my mental health and my marriage to Damon has improved a lot, I wanted to share my story with you guys. Don't worry, Damon gave me permission. He finds these stories hilarious and wanted me to share mine as well. He is the best. So it all began when I started to date Damon. I was fresh out of college and landed a very good job right away. Damon was one of my colleagues, and we quickly became friends. He was a few years ahead of me and helped me learn a lot at my job. He left my work a year after I joined. Damon took a great offer from another company and moved to their office. I was sad to see him go, but the first thing he did after leaving was ask me out. Guys, I was absolutely thrilled. However, he gave me a little warning after we went on a few dates. He said, "Look, Haley, I like you a lot. It took me great patience not to ask you out while I was working at my old job. I had this major crush on you and didn't know what to do. Why didn't you just ask me out then? HR wouldn't have minded if we had informed them. I wouldn't have said no either." HR is not the issue, Haley. I wasn't worried about them. It's just that I wanted to see if I could get rid of my feelings for you. You must be offended by hearing this. It's just that my mother doesn't take kindly to me having a partner. What? Why is your mom so against you dating? You don't even live with her anymore. She hates to see me or my brother Darren in a relationship. She has destroyed most of our relationships in the past. I guess she didn't want to share us with anyone else. She can be very dedicated when it comes to ruining my relationships. I lost a lot of people because of her. I wanted to be sure before pulling you into my drama. I was pretty much taken aback by what he told me. I never knew mother-in-law could be this intense. You could say that I grew up quite sheltered and was always taught to see good in people. So I didn't take Damon that seriously. However, one meeting with his family just proved his words right. Audrey, his mother, made it clear that she didn't like me. His dad, William, and brother Darren were welcoming and kind, but Audrey was very, very different. She said, "Now that you're dating my son, don't think you are at the top of the world. He has his priorities straight. Damon knows that me and his family are more important." I understand that, Audrey. I would never ask him to give me more attention. Oh, please. I have seen plenty of women like you. Why don't you just ask Damon how I saved him from his exes? I made Darren's horrible exes run away too. I won't even blink when I get rid of you. Audrey, what is wrong with you? You can't speak to Haley that way. She loves my son and he loves her too. Show her some respect. Mom, what you did wasn't something to boast about. Both me and Damon have been upset about those. Right, Damon? Yes, Mom. You know what you did wasn't right. Also, you can't just talk to Haley like that. She's a great girl and doesn't deserve your hate. I can see that Haley is already putting ideas into your head. Don't let her take you away from your mother, Damon. As for the past, you and Darren should be grateful I chased away horrible people from your lives. No one can be as important as me. I was stunned to hear Audrey speak like that. Damon, William, and Darren tried to restrain her words, but no one could stop her at all. When she took a break and went to the kitchen, William and Darren both apologized on behalf of her. They said, "I am so sorry, Haley. Audrey is always like this. I have no idea how to control her. She has been rude towards you. I hate that she treats you this way." William, you don't have to apologize on her behalf. None of this is your fault or Darren's. You two have been really nice to me. Trust me, that's enough for me. Haley, don't underestimate our mom. She can get really bad on you. We have had multiple experiences like this in the past. We all like you, so we don't want you to break up with Damon. Keep that in mind. Don't let Audrey win, no matter what she does. I kept Darren and William's words in mind. They were right, you know. Audrey did her best to make me and Damon break up. It really helped that Damon both knew Audrey's real face, so it was easier for us to find out who was trying to sabotage our relationship. At first, it was about I was a gold digger and her son deserved more. She used to insult my looks, job, weight, and many more things. Damon and I tried to talk to her about this. However, Audrey never accepted her faults. Every time we confronted her, she said, "Haley, you're doing this to insult and embarrass me. I have the right to look out for my son. You are just jealous of me." I'm not jealous of you, Audrey. How can I be jealous of Damon's mother? That is ridiculous. You are trying to avoid your part in trying to break us up. What you have been saying about me is just plain nasty. I'm doing this to protect my son, Damon. He needs to see what a horrible gold digger you are. I'm pretty sure you are with multiple people and only using Damon for money. You are not even beautiful. I won't allow a loser like you to ruin my son. Mom, that's too much. Everything you have said is a lie. I'm getting tired of listening to you insult Haley. She is a good girl and I love her. Please don't do this to us. Audrey never stopped and only escalated. She used to call Damon daily and fill his head with negatives about me. At times, when me and Damon are fighting, he ends up siding with his mother. However, he always realized his mistake and apologized. That is one of the main reasons why I still married Damon. Audrey was extremely unhappy with our marriage, but the rest of my in-laws were over the moon. Surprisingly, our marriage made Audrey become worse. I guess she couldn't believe that I stuck with Damon despite her efforts. Audrey continued to harass me and Damon throughout the years. I knew that she regularly talked to Damon because she was missing him or something. I didn't mind because over the years she had stopped being dramatic and toxic towards me. She was surprisingly a little civil towards me in family gatherings. Turns out William spoke to Audrey and threatened to leave her if she didn't change her ways. I guess she was a little spooked by that. I was enjoying the peace and quiet until me and Damon hit a rough patch. I had an unexpected miscarriage. We were both devastated. Damon withdrew himself and our communication broke down. We had many fights and even talked about divorce because he had a tough time dealing with the situation. But after a few days, Damon came to a realization. He told me, "I'm so sorry for being distant, Audrey. I should have done better. You were hurting and I acted like an ass." It's okay, Damon. I know you were hurting as well. I was just heartbroken when you mentioned divorce. I never thought about that before you said it. It really hurt me a lot. I cannot tell you how sorry I am, Haley. I know this doesn't take from my faults, but I wasn't the one who thought about divorce first. It was my mom who kept insisting. I don't want to keep this from you, Haley. There is something I need to confess. What is it, Damon? Is Audrey trying to ruin our marriage again? You are right, Haley. She has been calling me daily and poisoning me against you. I was vulnerable and didn't have the mental stability to catch her intentions, but I can now see that she was trying to manipulate me again. I have recorded the calls. Do you want to listen? I was curious and decided to hear what Audrey said about me. I had a sneaking suspicion that someone had been giving stupid ideas. Turns out it was Audrey. The call recordings I heard were outrageous. She was berating me for having a miscarriage and telling Damon that he should divorce me. Hell, she spoke some vile things about me and made it seem like Damon was better off without me. Instead of helping her son heal, she was trying to attack his insecurities and force him into divorcing me. I was furious with what I heard. Damon also looked mad and upset. He said, "I know what my mom said is absolutely unforgivable. Hell, even I don't know how I can forgive myself, but I am willing to cut contact with her for good." I agree with that, Damon. I let her stay in our lives because she is family, but she went too far this time. I won't forgive her. We never need to see or talk to her again. Hell, I don't want her around me either. I'll go and tell her that she will not be in our lives anymore. No, I don't think that would be enough. Audrey tried to fool William and Darren into thinking that she had changed. I want to expose her to them. I will show them the recordings next time we have a family dinner. I don't want her to spin the story her way. People need to know how vile she is. If that's what you want, then so be it. Mom needs to have some serious consequences for her actions. It's high time me and my family take some action against her. Damon and I decided to work towards a plan that would expose Audrey. He kept talking to her and she kept spewing bullshit against me. All the calls I heard made me want to hurl. Damon was also getting more and more upset. In every call recording, Damon tried to defend me, but his mother kept attacking me. Hell, she targeted our weak spots to show us that our marriage would fail soon. I was appalled at how vile and manipulative Audrey could be. The D-Day arrived in a week. We did our best to make a compilation of Audrey's calls and what she said about me. It took us time and was frustrating to hear everything again and again. In the end, we made a nice audio compilation. I asked Damon if he was sure about going through with the plan. He seemed determined, and so was I. Audrey was going down this time. Damon and I kept everyone in the dark till we reached my in-laws' place. From the very beginning, Audrey started to make hurtful remarks about me and my life. Everyone was very uncomfortable with her words and tried to make her stop. I suffered through the humiliation because I knew what was coming. We had dinner in relative silence with occasional jabs from Audrey. As usual, they were directly or indirectly about me and my flaws. Again, everyone ignored her. William was trying his best to make Audrey stop. That didn't deter her even the slightest. She went on making jabs at me until it was time for dinner. While dinner was awkward, the real show was about to begin. After we were done eating, I decided that it was time to begin talking. I said, "So, now that we have dinner out of the way, there is something important that I should discuss with you all. You don't have to hype yourself, Haley. We all know that your talks are absolutely unimportant. Just say what you want instead of wasting our time." Let her speak, Audrey. You are being super rude to her. This is not how we behave with family. Why so impatient, Audrey? You took your sweet time talking to Damon about me, didn't you? Don't worry, I won't take months to complete my talk. It will only take a few minutes. Go ahead, Haley. We're all ears. Well, I had some very important and disturbing problems in my life. I thought this is something we all should know about and discuss. But before starting any discussion, I would like to play a few recordings for you. I looked at Damon as he gave me the green signal to start the recordings. I held my breath for a minute to find my composure. Audrey sure does know how to rattle me when I'm trying to stay calm. Recalling everything she had said about me, I pressed the play button on my phone and let the recordings play. After listening to the recordings, no one said anything for some time. William and Darren looked absolutely shocked. Meanwhile, Audrey just looked super angry. I had no idea why she had that reaction. I mean, I expected her to look scared or turn pale, but she was downright angry at me. I looked at Damon and he was confused about her reaction as well. Nothing prepared me for what happened next. Before anyone could speak, Audrey started to scream at me. "This is ridiculous! Why the hell did you show my private calls to everyone, Haley? You had no right to snoop on what I and my son talked about. You are such a shameless girl. I can't believe your audacity." Oh, don't worry about that, Audrey. Damon okayed it before I showed everyone the recordings. In fact, he is the one who made the recordings with me. There is no way my son would betray me like that. You are just jealous of me and Damon's close relationship. So you're trying to poison us against each other. Damon, I'm so sorry your wife violated your privacy like this. Mom, she had my permission to show these recordings to everyone. I'm sorry to say this, but I'm done with you. I truly never realized just how badly you were trying to destroy my marriage. How can you even say that about me? I have done nothing wrong. I was simply talking to my son. Is that so, Audrey? Do these recordings sound like normal conversations to you? No one here would believe that you weren't trying to break us up. This is all part of your plan. You are purposefully trying to isolate Damon and take him away from me. See, everyone, I always knew Haley would destroy our family. For a while, there was a pin-drop silence again. I could see that Damon, William, and even Darren looked really pissed off. I could feel the anger boiling off them. Audrey looked irritated and pretended to be disturbed by my accusations. Then, my dear husband stormed at Audrey. Damon said, "You have the audacity to accuse Haley of destroying our family? You are the one who tried to destroy my marriage, Mom. You tried to spoil your own son's happiness. You guys have to believe me. I only had good intentions. Haley is putting ideas into your head. I can't believe you turned on Haley because she exposed you. Mom, you literally told me that I should divorce my wife and move back home. How can you say you had good intentions? Damon, I was only looking out for you. I didn't want you to be unhappy. I know Haley is a terrible wife and your marriage is ruined. Mom, I told you I'm perfectly happy in my marriage. How dare you say that Haley is a bad wife? If anyone is trying to ruin my marriage, it is you. I'm done with you, Mom. I don't want you anywhere near me or my wife. We have gone through enough already. Leave us alone. Audrey heard that and immediately started to cry. She couldn't believe that her son would stand up to her just to protect me. She kept pleading with her son to listen to her and understand her reasons. She also went on a rant about how horrible I was and how she had been right about me. That's when my dear father-in-law decided to speak. He said, "Enough is enough, Audrey. I have tolerated your insane jealousy towards Haley for a while now. It was my mistake that I didn't nip it in the bud sooner. You need to apologize to Haley and stay out of Damon's life." What are you saying, William? I will not apologize to that monster, Haley. How can you ask me to apologize? She's trying to ruin my family. You are the one trying to ruin this family, Audrey. For years, you have meddled in and messed up your son's relationships. You are responsible for the numerous breakups that Damon and Darren had in their lives. I always thought that you would change. You never did. Dad is right, Mom. You cannot deny the fact that you have chased away the girls who I bring home. You have done the same with Damon. We always believed you because you're our mother. But now I can see that you simply wanted us in your control. How can you be so evil to your own sons? There is no use telling Mom anything, Darren. I already tried to stop her and change her ways. She never listened. You are all blaming me for what Haley did. I will never forgive you for this, Haley. I can now see why God made you infertile. It's His way of punishing you. I was stunned to hear what Audrey said. I had no idea how bad her tirade against me could get. Everyone was shocked while Audrey went on crying and playing the victim. Damon was ready to break something while Darren looked at his dad with a challenging face. William stood up and calmly said, "That's it, Audrey. That was the last thing I needed to make this decision. I cannot be with someone so vile and disgusting. I failed to protect my son from your toxic ways, but I won't tolerate this anymore. I will file for separation. I'm done with you as well. Don't even think about coming near me or Haley after this. You are dead to me, Mom. I want nothing to do with you. Like Damon, I don't want you near me either. You have already tried to poison me against my girlfriend. Now that I saw how far you can go, I will protect myself and my future fiancé. Stay the heck away from us." Hearing this, Audrey went into an absolute rage. She was crying, screaming, and calling me all sorts of names. Suddenly, her sons and husband were completely forgotten. She started to show her true colors and became violent at me. She did hurt me quite a bit by pushing me into the kitchen cabinet. That's when William actually called the police on her. Darren and Damon kept Audrey restrained while the police arrived. They came and took her away in handcuffs. The aftermath of the entire fiasco was not exactly a happy one. For months, me, Damon, Darren, and William had to go through a lot. William initially wanted separation, but he went and filed for divorce. Audrey's insanity kept increasing while she was in jail. She kept crying and begging to meet with her husband and sons. She was still unapologetic about what happened. So with everyone's encouragement, I pressed charges against her. It looks like she will have a healthy dose of prison in the next month. At least that's what the lawyer says. No one is willing to help Audrey with bail money, so she would have to stay in the cell till the final hearing. As for the rest of us, we have all gotten restraining orders against Audrey. After the incident, both Damon and Darren were scared for their significant others. They wanted to ensure our safety and put restraining orders in place. William is close to getting a divorce from Audrey as well. His lawyer has assured that the divorce will be swift. The best part is that Audrey can't claim alimony because of a post-nup they signed. Turns out William had been skeptical about their marriage a few years into it, so they decided on a post-nup. This means Audrey would have to go back to work once she gets out of jail. William is heartbroken because he spent almost a lifetime with Audrey. We are all supporting him while we recover from what Audrey subjected us to. Picture this. I'm Millie, 36, female, a wife navigating a lonely life while my husband, Francis, serves in the military. Yep, he's been deployed for some time, which, trust me, comes with its own set of challenges. Military life isn't all glamorous reunions and tearful farewells. It's also about finding strength in the in-between moments. Now, I know Francis is a brave soul. He's got this quiet determination that I admire, and during one of his calls home, he asked for something unusual. He suggested that my relationship with his mom, Lily, needed a little TLC. What are you talking about? Well, you know how Mom's been since Dad passed away? She's been feeling pretty lonely, and honestly, so have I during this deployment. Yeah, I've noticed. It must be really tough for her. Exactly, and well, I was thinking, maybe you could both use each other's company a bit more, spend more time together. Francis, please. I know things have been a bit strained between you and Mom since, the wedding incident. The wine incident, you mean? Yeah, that was something. Let me give you a little backstory. Our beef goes way back to my wedding day. Imagine the stress of planning, coordinating, and trying to keep my cool and not look like a crazy person, even though I most certainly am. And just trying to relax a bit before I tie the knot. And then there's Lily, my dear mother-in-law. She's got a way of pushing my buttons, a skill she honed on that very day. She had an agenda, not a subtle one, mind you, to make my life a tad more chaotic. Petty actions? Oh, she had those in spades. You see, there I was trying to get ready and savor every moment before the big I do. Lily, with a grin that could only be called devious, accidentally spilled red wine on my pristine white wedding dress. Red wine, folks, on a white dress. It was like a nightmare unfolding in slow motion. Of course, she claimed it was a mishap, saying she had butterfingers because her baby boy was growing up, but I knew better. That twinkle in her eye said it all. She did it on purpose. From that moment, our relationship took a nosedive. It was like a layer of trust had been peeled away, revealing the tension simmering beneath the surface. Every encounter after that was laced with passive-aggressive comments and thinly veiled sarcasm. A friendly chat turned into a battlefield of snide remarks. It was exhausting, to say the least. So, naturally, I distanced myself from the hag. I wasn't interested in catching a case. But because of the love I had for Francis and the hurt he had in his voice, I relented. I mean, how couldn't I? I just felt so bad for him enduring all of that BS during his service, all of that hardcore training and sleepless nights. I knew that I at least owed it to him to try. Besides, it had been years after that, so I was hoping that Lily did some growing up. Well, if it's important to you, I'm willing to give it a try. Besides, I'm all about supporting each other. That's my girl. I know it won't be easy, especially with the history you guys have, but who knows? Maybe you'll discover you have more in common than you think. I'll keep an open mind, I promise. But just so you know, if she tries to spill wine on anything again, I'll have a word with her. No more sabotage attempts, I swear. All right then, let's do this. For you and us, and even for Lily. Thanks, Millie. It means a lot to me, and I promise I'll make up for it when I'm back. After Francis and I had the heart-to-heart about reconnecting with his mother, I mustered up the courage to contact Lily. I knew it wouldn't be easy considering our history, but I was determined to make an effort for the sake of my husband and the overall atmosphere in our family. Biggest mistake ever. Lily's response was as passive-aggressive as I had anticipated. She reluctantly admitted that Francis had given her a stern talking to about how she treated me. She promised that she would try to tolerate me more, emphasizing the word try, with just the right amount of emphasis to let me know that this wasn't going to be a smooth ride. So we began to spend more time together. It was rocky at first with the tension in the air, so thick that you could practically cut it with a knife. But slowly we found some common ground, bonding over old family stories and shared experiences. Things were decent, at least for a while, but then old Lily started to rear her ugly head again. It was subtle at first, those little jabs and digs that only I seemed to notice. A snide comment here, a passive-aggressive remark there. So, Mean Girls in high school, it was pathetic. It was like she couldn't help herself. And it was driving me absolutely insane. Months went by and the frustration kept building. I was tired of being the nice girl who was trying so hard to make things work. I had enough of the fake smiles and forced conversations. I wanted to address the elephant in the room, no matter how uncomfortable it might be. So one day, I gathered my courage and decided to confront Lily about her behavior. We were at her place, sipping on some tea that I swear tasted more bitter than usual. As I tried to find the right words, my heart was racing a mile a minute. Finally, I just blurted it out. Lily, I can't ignore the fact that things have been tense between us. I thought we were making progress, but these little jabs and digs, they're getting to me. Lily looked at me with that practiced innocence, but I wasn't falling for it this time. Oh dear, I'm not sure what you mean. I took a deep breath, my frustration turning into determination. You know exactly what I mean, and honestly, I'm tired of playing nice. If we're going to make this work, we need to have an honest conversation. And that's when all hell broke loose. Our conversation escalated into a full-blown argument, each word more heated than the last. Our voices were raised, and I swear I could feel the tension in the room choking the air out of me. I'm not going to lie, I was half expecting my nosy neighbor to call the cops, thinking some sort of domestic dispute was happening. As the shouting continued, it hit me just how deep the resentment ran. This wasn't just about spilled wine on my wedding dress anymore. It was about years of misunderstandings, miscommunications, and a whole lot of pent-up anger. And in that moment, I realized that there was no going back to the way things were. Our argument eventually subsided, leaving the room feeling heavy with the weight of our words. I left Lily's place that day feeling drained, but strangely liberated. We had finally let it all out, and while it might not have been the most graceful or eloquent exchange, it was real. In the aftermath, I felt a mix of emotions, relief, sadness, and even a strange sort of clarity. It was clear to me that some wounds ran too deep to heal with just a few tea sessions and polite conversations. After that intense argument with Lily, I found myself sitting in my living room, the weight of everything that had transpired hanging heavily in the air. I was fed up, worn out from the constant tension and bickering. It was as if the walls of that big house were closing in on me, suffocating me with memories and unresolved issues. As the days went by, I couldn't shake off the feeling of loneliness that seemed to have taken residence in every corner of our rented home. Francis was still on duty, serving his deployment miles away, and the house felt emptier than ever. It was a stark reminder of how much I missed him and how far apart we were, and after fighting with my mother-in-law, I just felt extra lonely. I was sick of either being too far away from the people I loved or too close to the people I didn't. So the idea of moving began to take root in my mind. Downgrading to a smaller place seemed like a breath of fresh air. It wasn't just about saving money, although that was definitely a plus. It was about creating a space that felt more manageable, cozier, and most importantly, free from the constant BS of Lily. During one of our video calls, I brought up the idea to Francis. He was surprisingly open to it. At the time, I didn't mention the fight with Lily, acknowledging that it might be a good move for us, especially if it meant easing some of the financial burden. But then, in that way that only he could, he asked the question that I had been avoiding. "Hey, babe." "Yes?" Part of me can't shake the idea that this also has something to do with a certain someone. "Did you and my mom get at it again? Does she have anything to do with you wanting to move?" I sighed, feeling a mix of frustration and relief that he had brought it up. "Yeah, it's partly about her. I mean, I tried, Francis. I really did. But she's just so abrasive, you know? It's like every conversation with her is a battle, and I've had enough." Francis nodded sympathetically on the screen. "I get it, Millie. You've done your best to bridge that gap, but if it's causing you this much stress, maybe it's time to prioritize your own well-being. I genuinely don't know why my mom hates you so much. I'll do what I can, but my hands are tied since I'm out here. But I love you and I want to support you the best way I can. And if it means moving out, then so be it." And there it was, his unwavering support and understanding, just as I had come to expect from him. It wasn't about running away from the problem, but finding a solution that allowed us both to breathe a little easier. His words reassured me that it was okay to put myself first and to seek a healthier environment where I could thrive without constantly being on edge. As our conversation continued, I felt a renewed sense of determination. Moving wouldn't solve all of our problems, but it would be a step towards reclaiming my peace of mind. And with Francis by my side, even though he was miles away, I felt empowered to make decisions that would lead to a more positive and fulfilling future. So, as I looked around our living room, I imagined what it would be like to start anew in a cozier space, free from the ghosts of unresolved conflicts. I was ready to take that step, to create a space where Francis and I could find solace in each other's company, without the constant weight of negativity that had plagued our relationship with Lily. So, fast forwarding about 3 months, I was all settled into this cool apartment. Honestly, it had been such a game changer. You wouldn't believe how freeing it felt to escape that old place with all its bad vibes. Anyway, my 26th birthday was on the horizon and I was stoked. It was going to be my first time celebrating in my new digs, and I was determined to make it awesome. Usually, I'd leave my home out the night before the party so my friends and family could deck out the place, because they always wanted to surprise me. But this year called for a little something different. I obviously couldn't have a grand party in such a tiny apartment. My friends were there, and we were getting the party started before our early flight the next day. You know, having a pre-trip hangout, crashing at my place, and then jetting off together. We were having a great time. The living room was buzzing with laughter and chatter as we geared up for the adventure. But obviously, things can't stay the same forever, right? During all the excitement, my phone buzzed with a text from Lily. Curious, I checked it out. "Call me now. Something important to talk about." It was quick and to the point, but the urgency in it made me wonder what was up. I slipped away from the crew, heading to my bedroom to dial her up. My heart was racing a bit, like, what was so urgent? "Hello? Hello, Lily? What's going on?" "I've had enough of your crap, Millie. What the hell is wrong with you?" "Excuse me?" "You heard me. What is your problem? Why do you have to go and try to make my son hate me?" "Oh, I see. You're mad because I told your son the truth?" "What truth? You're ridiculous, you know that?" "Lily, I don't have time to deal with you, okay? I'm sick of you and your bitterness. I don't care that you're a miserable person. Just leave me alone and let me enjoy my birthday weekend." "Speaking of that, I wanted to let you know something. You're not going to be enjoying your birthday this year. You should thank me for the heads up." "What the hell? What are you talking about?" "Well, I was feeling a bit bitter after not being invited this year, you see, so I took the liberty of contributing as best I could so that I could at least do something special for the birthday girl." "What the hell did you do, Lily?" "Well, I'm sure you'd like to see it for yourself tomorrow, but I can't hold it any longer. I broke into your home and broke everything. All of the decorations, the furniture, everything is broken. Come to think of it, I did you a favor because your friends did a terrible job at decorating this year. Honestly, it looked like a completely different person was living in that house." I took a long pause, practically hearing Lily smirking on the phone before she said, "Oh, looks like I did my job and gave the birthday girl a great surprise. Happy birthday, Millie. Hope you have a blast." I started laughing, and this seemed to anger Lily. "Why are you laughing? What's so funny? You should be crying right now." "Oh, Lily, you idiot." "Excuse me?" "You think you're so smart, don't you? Well, I will say one thing. You did manage to surprise me, that's for sure. I didn't know you could be so horrible, but you made a big mistake, love." "Oh, yeah? And what's that?" "That's not my house." "What? Have you lost your mind or something?" "Nope. But you will once you realize whose house you just broke into and vandalized." So I spilled the beans to Lily about my move 3 months back. I guess it was kind of unexpected for her to hear that I'd decided to pack up and leave. The old house was history, and in its place was this new sheriff who had rolled into town. Yeah, this sheriff, Liam, he had snagged the house. He was new to the area and was planning on moving in with his family. I had met him a couple of times, and I could already tell he was one of those genuinely nice guys. Like, he was all about getting his place ship-shape before his family came over. As I explained all this to Lily, I could sense her mood changing. She was starting to freak out, and I knew why. Lily realized that she had just messed with the wrong person big time. See, vandalizing a regular home was one thing, but taking on the new sheriff's house was on a whole different level of crazy. I heard her shiver on the other end of the line, and I knew she was beginning to understand the magnitude of what she had done. The panic in her voice was palpable as she asked, "Oh my God, Millie, What have I done? I let out a chuckle, but it wasn't a happy one. Well, Lily, you decided to mess with the sheriff's home. You're on your own with this one. She began to cry and panic, begging me to help her fix the situation. She didn't even say she was sorry for attempting to vandalize my home. What a witch. She wanted me to reach out to the sheriff and tell him it was all some big misunderstanding. But seriously, this was just too rich. Lily was reaping what she had sown, and I wasn't about to bail her out. I had to hold back a laugh as she sobbed over the phone, saying her life was ruined. I wasn't feeling bad for her, not in the slightest. She had played these games for years, and now she was facing the consequences. It was kind of poetic justice, if you ask me. Millie, please, please help me. Oh God, I'm gonna go to jail. I just shook my head, even though she couldn't see it. Sorry, Lily, you got yourself into this mess, and I suggest you figure your way out. I won't be part of it. I will say you've made my night, though. This is the best birthday present I could ask for. I ended the call and let out a sigh of relief. Finally, I was done with Lily and her drama. It was time to move forward and live my life without her constant negativity dragging me down. As I glanced around my cozy new apartment, I knew I had made the right choice in leaving that old place behind. The next day was the start of my vacation with my friends. We were ready for some fun and adventure, and I was determined to leave Lily's mess far behind me. As my friends and I jetted off, I ignored all of her calls. I had made up my mind that I was done with her and her toxicity. I managed to finally get a hold of my husband, Francis, while we were on a break. I told him everything that had gone down with Lily. He was understandably upset with his mother for her ridiculous behavior. It was like she had finally pushed it too far, and he was glad that she was finally getting a taste of what she had been dishing out. As my friends and I enjoyed our vacation, I was still getting updates from some friends and acquaintances back home. They were filling me in on what happened with Lily. Turns out, after all her crazy antics, she had landed herself in a jail cell. And the irony of it all, she had nobody to bail her out. It was like the universe was serving her a hefty dose of karma. I couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction as I heard about Lily's situation. For so long, she had acted like she could do whatever she pleased without any consequences. But now, she was facing the music all on her own. She had burned so many bridges and pushed away everyone who might have been willing to help her. While I was basking in the sun with my friends, Lily was stuck in a jail cell with nobody to turn to. It was like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders, knowing that I was free from her toxic influence. I was no longer going to be dragged down by her manipulations and hurtful actions. As my vacation came to an end, I returned home feeling refreshed and renewed. Lily's chapter in my life was officially closed, and I was ready to move forward without her. It was a liberating feeling knowing that I had taken control of my own happiness and left behind the negativity that had held me back for so long. Life moved on, and I focused on building positive relationships and surrounding myself with people who truly cared about me. Francis and I were stronger than ever, united in our determination to create a happy and healthy life together. And as for Lily, well, she had finally reaped what she had sown, and it was a lesson she wouldn't soon forget.